Hi, I'm Ryan Best and this is the proposal for our group's video post-production module. Our task for the assignment is to produce a 5 to 10 minute piece using post-production techniques. We decided that we wanted to work on producing our own television station, which will incorporate post-production techniques that we've learned over the past 2 years, as well as learning some new software techniques to frame and package the broadcast content. As well as the branding for the station, we intend to produce a pilot show which will be broadcast on the channel. However, this may change depending on how time-consuming the rest of the components are to make. Our channel will be for a youth audience. We'll be looking to emulate stations that are of a similar demographic to our audience. Most obvious examples include MTV, BBC Three, TMF and E4. The channel kicks off at 7 o'clock in the evening, in keeping with similar stations. We'd be starting things with an inactive screen, with something like a poster page that's simply been made in Photoshop. This will lead into something active, like the BBC Three active screen page, which we can see now. We'd be looking to create something quite similar to this, which would incorporate a moving image on a logo screen. This is something we feel that we'd be able to recreate using programs including After Effects to create a looping animation. The BBC Three animation is an idea that we like, along with the BBC Two example which follows. We thought BBC Two's example was a lot more simple, yet just as effective. On top of this, we'd be looking to create our own 60-second news feature. The example we're using is the one taken from BBC Three. This is because of its high reliance on post-production techniques to aid as a visual stimulus. As we can see, the presenter is standing in front of a blue screen in a three-dimensional environment. The background's full of around 50 or so different screens playing, which look visually stimulating, along with the scrolling text at the bottom of the screen. There are many lights in the three-dimensional environment too, which adds texture to it. Also, we can see the use of post-production to frame the screen's news footage, which is relevant to the headlines that the presenter's addressing. Next, we can see Last Man Standing. What we're looking at here is the fast pace of the editing in a preview clip that would be shown in between programs. We'd look to do this by making quick cuts within Final Cut Pro. We're also looking at the clever placement of the logo, which stayed present in the bottom left-hand corner throughout.
Catch up on all the episodes so far on BBC iPlayer.
Moving on, the More4 ident graphic, which would be used as a template and could be constantly altered and manipulated for it to be able to move with the times, while at the same time being able to keep its strong brand identity, is another idea that we really like. A good branding example of this used within the channel is More4 News. It makes good use of the branding that it's known for and represents its headlines within it. TMF is another channel that has a similar target audience to the one we're aiming at. We picked up on some of their stylistic tendencies, which include fast, choppy editing, heavy use of sound effects and special effects, and animation. And here's an example of this. All of these effects reaffirm the target audience that it's aimed at. The full screen they use for their graphic ID is plain and simple and bold and colourful. We feel we could create our own using a combination of programs from Creative Suite, After Effects and 3D Studio Max. Next, we can see Spendaholics. The show starts with an introductory summary that lasts for around 2 minutes and it sums up most of the programme.
28-year-old Matthew Vokes is a shopping junkie whose finances are in desperate need of rehab.
We're using this clip because of its post-production techniques, such as the pace and speed of the editing along with the style of delivery. It's something that we'd like to do with our driving school show. It's not a high budget piece, but it still has a high quality look and feel to it. And this is important considering that we don't have a huge budget to spend. There'll be a variety of different individual components that will contribute towards our final production. How these come together will ultimately determine the success of the production, and it will only be as good as its weakest component. For example, if our graphics fail to stand up to the rest of the production, then that will be what the piece is remembered for. We've established that there will be many individual component parts, which will need to come together successfully for us to achieve our goal. Not least is the station and brand identity. This must be relevant to our target audience. Once we have this, a graphics and logo package will consist of the following. Component audio parts will include we'll also be using with any of the filming that we look to undertake, lighting will be important. As much as possible, we'll try to use natural lighting and daytime shots. Thanks for watching our proposal, and we look forward to you enjoying our station in the near future.